Hello, one and all. I am your horror host, Inkarnate, back from the theater, fresh on the scene, and oh boy, despite how confused this film left me, I know exactly where to start with my thoughts on it. If there's a word that I would apply to this film, it would have to be nonplussed. Just honestly, why? That's the lingering question I'm left with this movie. Do not be fooled. Straight up and flat out, this movie is subject to basically false advertisement, and what I mean by that, bro, this isn't even a horror movie. Hell, this is barely a zombie film. Like, we're gonna get into it, but Nia DaCosta, the director of this glorified drama film, yeah, she's not up to the task for directing horror. I've seen enough out of her output. I've seen her just be allowed in, not allowed, but her takes on two franchises now within horror, which are pretty well known. And I gotta be honest, kiddo ain't cut out for this. I don't know. I wonder if she just does horror movies just so she can get her political messaging out there, which I'll get into later on. But yeah, man, she's not cut out for this at all. There's nothing resembling like mood or atmosphere, and I was concerned about that. That was one of my worries going into this film. I'm like, is the director going to apply any semblance of her own agency, her own thumbprint on this film? And unsurprisingly, the answer was a resounding no. Now, if that's not bad enough, when you defang your threat in a film, in a story, to the point that you make them either an easy kill or you're singing and dancing with them. Yeah, that happens in this movie. You've jumped the shark and you've removed the peril right out of your monster. Well done. And those two scenes I just described, yeah, that's totally worth neutering your villain creatures, right? I counted no less than 3 startling moments in the entirety of this film, all of which were jump scares. I really think that the director here needs to find a new line of work, and if it sounds like I'm harsh on her, she's very much deserving of it. She's now been... I don't remember what her first film was, but she's been doing movies for 5 years now. You're not cut out for this. Moving on. The one positive that I can say is that I want to say 2/3 into the movie, the one interesting scene when the two parties that the premise of this film, the roving band of murderers and the Dr. Evil, when they cross paths, it does make for interesting scenery and dialogue. And to the point that the one interesting interpretation over what the nature of the rage virus could be is explained here. I won't spoil it, but I did appreciate, at the very least, we had some commentary on what initiated this rage virus that has turned men mad and has crippled the world as far as our characters know. That was at least interesting and thought-provoking. And I was wondering what it was going to be like for these three elements: the infected, the roving band of murderers, the cult, and the doctor. How is the film going to be able to balance all of these seemingly disparate ingredients, and were they going to gel together? Was there going to be some kind of synchronicity where each of them coming together, colliding together, each of these ingredients was going to be greater than the sum of their parts, which I'll get to momentarily. But man, while something like Nosferatu was labeled as a symphony of horror, this movie is more of a concert of banality. You'll know what I mean when you see it. Apparently, the cure to the 28-year rage virus is a mix of Tylenol and Ozempic. Who could have known? I said in my preview, in my precaution, that the film needed to forego cliches, especially those surrounding thinking zombies. I was worried not only about that boring dead-end last resort where you have zombies seemingly regain awareness and consciousness and identity, but what I didn't mention in my precaution preview was my concern that they were going to focus on making the humans the true villains. Look, you can have a movie like Aliens where you'll have a human be like the B villain. Okay, but when you start doing the whole, it's a metaphor for the zombies are the backdrop, but what the metaphor is the horrors of humanity. Guys. I don't like it. It kind of goes nowhere. Whenever you zombies, and to an extent the greater horror genre, especially during the cycle of prestige horror, elevated horror, oh man, they ran the risk of being so caught up in the message and being all philosophical and ethical that they became preachy. And that often happened with zombie anything, films, comics, movies, where they became about like satire and political commentary, and that just gets really old. And it's, how can I put it? I guess I wouldn't initially say that about this film, just because it's so blatant with the messaging. There isn't any subtlety to it. I mean, basically, the human characters hijack the movie from the infected. I'm like there's long stretches of time in this movie where you forget about the infected completely, and so does the movie. And it's just like, why? Again, I'm asking myself, why did they make this movie? Why this feels like a different movie entirely, despite having the similar cast members to 28 years later from 2025. I mean, Jesus, the unspoken worry that I had about the humans dominating the lion's share of the screen time sees the infected basically appear as cameo roles in their own movie. Just very jarring. And like I was saying before, how this movie is utterly, completely lacking in mood and atmosphere. Dude, the first movie from last year, 28 years later, they did so much better of a job with the world building. Again, I have to place the blame at the director. It's like you have this new world that's like a wilderness, returning man and monster back to the wilderness. They don't do anything with it. Like, this movie takes place in, I don't know, 3 different locations, basically, and none of which have any signature moments to them. nothing that sticks out. So again, I genuinely wonder why they continued the story from the previous film in this sequel to seemingly no avail. Like, nothing was set up other than the characters in the previous film that you see here. You know what I mean? And, oh god, speaking of which, the majority of the Bone Temple is more of a sequence of events instead of a plot building on itself towards a resolution. Forget building on anything that the previous film made. How's about building your own plot and getting somewhere with it? I mean, to me, the story, the actual story, doesn't even kick in until past the hour mark. I had to check. I'm like, wow, now we're doing something. With Nia DaCosta, one thing that I did worry about was that she was going to use this as a platform for all the liberal talking points, and as much as she kept it to a minimum, it's still there, it's still noticeable. There's talk of fascism and nationalism and a certain world war. You actually have it in this movie where 2 women basically kill 5 men. I'm like, God almighty. And if that's not bad, if you think that I'm exaggerating, in the first third of the movie, there's a line that reads, "You pick me because you think I'm weak." Oh, God. I'm like, this is almost word for word what the Native American girl from the Predator prequel was babbling on about when she was girl bossing it up in that dud of a film. I'm telling you, man, straight out of the feminist playbook. And just to show what a non-plot this movie had, it has a non-ending. Like, it just ends on a note that they probably thought would be nostalgic, but it's like, I'm afraid not. Like, going that route just really showed that you didn't have a destination in mind for this movie. There's no resolution, there's no setup and payoff, none of that. You just went with what you thought was clever, but it isn't. I'm not someone that predicts box office, but I would really be surprised if this movie makes any money. Avatar is still out. We have the Silent Hill sequel coming out next week, which unfortunately doesn't seem to have gotten the marketing that it needed. I mean, this movie feels more like the studios target the dumping ground months, post-summer and post-holidays, and the more that they inadvertently, yet ironically, flood the market with more of the slop that these months get their reputation for, in essence adding to the problem, it's just wild to me. To give you an example, last year we had Blumhouse's The Wolfman, which woof. And geez, what was it? And this year we have The Bone Temple. I don't know why this movie was made. It's not scary. The infected are barely in it. They probably thought that reusing one of the infected characters, so to speak, from the previous film was going to carry some kind of cachet. So he doesn't. They probably think that he was going on some kind of arc, and no, whatever you were trying with him was not enough to carry a plot or have any intrigue or any of that. So the absence of the infected, by and large, yeah, that was a bit of an L and a very, very odd choice and ill-conceived decision. It wasn't brave. You didn't take any chances. You just didn't have the infected for the majority of a movie about the infected. In a sequel to a film about the infected, like, what were you thinking? Yeah, I can't recommend this sequel if for no other reason than it's unnecessary. And this is what I feared going into it. I was like, why? I didn't even know about this sequel until after the first film from 28 years later, until Critical Drinker mentioned it. I didn't know that they were making a sequel so quickly. I didn't know that Nia DaCosta was directing. And I have the exact same feeling, if not even more so, the confirmation that I had going in. I worried that there was just going to be no point to this movie. At best, it's a good drama, but I mean, my God, you can cut out. Wow, you can cut out, like, honestly, the first 2/3 of the movie and the second half of the last third. That doesn't make for gripping, compelling filmmaking. The script isn't there. There's two characters that you care about. Why did they make this movie? Why did they? There was so much going for the first one compared to this one. I hope that people will give. I hope the what this movie serves as people giving the 28 years later film from 2025 another look. Those who didn't like it, because I don't know what the point of this one was. So I can't recommend the Bone Temple if for no other reason than I am perplexed over its existence. It's not a bad movie, but it's just like a, do we need this movie? So that's been my AfterShock reaction video straight from the theater. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that if you haven't seen it, that you find it helpful. I try to keep these as spoiler-free as possible. I would invite you to take a gander at my precaution preview, as well as my 28 years later precaution and AfterShock live streams. What is on the scene as far as I'm concerned? I am going to do a watch party for Silent Hill. The original Silent Hill movie. I'm hoping tomorrow. This was a busier than expected week for me. I am or you know what? I might do it Monday. That makes sense. I might do it Monday because Monday we have a day off. That makes sense. I will do it for MLK, the holiday, because it would just be too much to prepare everything, all the materials for that for Monday. I mean, for tomorrow. So what I will do for tomorrow, this will not be the only live stream that I do for zombies. We had the Resident Evil showcase earlier today. I wasn't able to get to it because I just wasn't able to set up the live stream. It's been a while since I've done one of these. So what you have down the pipeline for me on the horizon, Friday, tomorrow, January 16th, I will do a live stream covering the Resident Evil Requiem showcase. Monday evening, I will do a watch party for, I guess, the 20th anniversary watch party for the Silent Hill film. Next week, I will do another precaution and an AfterShock on my way to the theater, and my reaction video straight from the cinema of the Return to Silent Hill film. So I won't be coming back full time, but there is enough in the first quarter of 2026 that I will be able to comment on. And I will see when I will get to do a trailer gut reaction to the recent Mummy trailer that dropped. So I hope to be seeing you and you'll be hearing from me. Therefore, for the Mind's Eye, I've been Inkarnate, reminding you, I ain't just a big deal, I'm the real deal. You're resigned to your fate? Time to subscribe to your fears.
Warn your friends. Warn everyone.